A judge, a sheriff, one courthouse, and a killing caught on camera. This is a courthouse in eastern Kentucky, the kind of place where authority feels personal, because the people in charge are not distant figures on television, but neighbors you see at the grocery store, people whose names you recognize without needing an introduction, people you trust because you always have. For years, District Judge Kevin Mullins and Sheriff Mickey Stines were exactly that kind of presence in Letcher County, familiar faces tied together by daily work inside the same building, sharing responsibility over arrests, court proceedings, and the lives of people moving through the justice system. Their relationship appeared ordinary, professional, even routine, until the afternoon of September 19th, 2024, when that courthouse became the scene of one of the most shocking killings Kentucky had ever seen. On that day, Sheriff Stines walked into Judge Mullins' chambers, closed the door behind him, and within minutes, Judge Kevin Mullins was dead. The shooting was captured on surveillance video. The sheriff did not flee. He exited the room, surrendered without resistance, and was taken into custody. From the very beginning, this was never a question of who committed the act. The identity of the shooter was known instantly. What no one could explain then, and what remains officially unresolved now, is why it happened. Kevin Mullins had served as a district court judge since 2009, presiding over cases involving misdemeanors, bond hearings, and drug-related offenses that shaped daily life in a county struggling with addiction and poverty. His authority placed him in direct control over people at their most vulnerable moments, deciding who stayed in jail and who went home, decisions that carried enormous weight in a small Appalachian community. Mickey Stines was deeply embedded in that same system. Elected sheriff in 2018 and re-elected in 2022, he had previously worked inside the courthouse as a bailiff and court security officer, spending years in Judge Mullins' courtroom. The two men were not strangers. They worked alongside each other for more than a decade, part of the same justice structure, in a place where professional relationships often become personal. The morning of September 19th began without any public sign of crisis. Courthouse employees moved through the building as usual. At some point earlier that day, Judge Mullins and Sheriff Stines were together with others. What was said remains unknown, but what followed is documented clearly. Surveillance cameras show Stines entering the judge's chambers. Others briefly entered and left. The door closed. Inside that room, the video shows Sheriff Stines pulling out a firearm. Judge Mullins was seated behind his desk. Shots were fired. Mullins attempted to protect himself, moving behind the desk as the sheriff continued firing. The attack was sustained. Judge Kevin Mullins was struck multiple times and died inside his chambers. When that video was later played in court, much of it was too graphic to be shown publicly. Family members of Judge Mullins could be heard sobbing in the courtroom as the footage showed the judge cornered, trying to shield himself. Not long after the shooting, distraught women believed to be relatives of Judge Mullins arrived at the courthouse. Video shows a state trooper physically holding one woman back as she tried to enter the building, overcome with emotion, desperate to get inside. After 4 p.m. that afternoon, dash cameras captured Sheriff Stines being led out of the courthouse in handcuffs and placed into the back of a cruiser. His voice is clearly heard as officers secure him. As he sits in the back seat, Stines repeatedly tells troopers to make sure there are no weapons in the vehicle. His tone is agitated, restless, and increasingly distressed.
Y'all gonna leave me in here and let me die of heat exhaustion? I can't get up in there. Come on now. Come on. I can't. Yeah, man. I can't get in. These cuffs are way too tight. Come on now, guys.
Even before the drive begins, Stines continues speaking rapidly, complaining about the handcuffs, the heat, the air, and saying he cannot breathe. He sounds fearful, almost panicked, asking officers to loosen the cuffs and crack a window.
Come on now, guys. Please don't do this to me. Please don't do this to me. Please.
You want to scoot on over a little bit to the left?
Come on now.
Try to scoot on over a little bit more. That way we don't hit you. Can you go any bit farther? That's what will hit you with the door. Put your knee in there, my friend.
Hey, Jason. Hey, Bates. Hey, Bates. Can we loosen this up a little or give the window down?
I'm sorry?
Can we loosen this up a little? Be fair to me, man.
I got some air. I'll crack the window for you, but I can turn the air on back here. Okay?
Yeah. Be fair to me now.
I promise. Yeah, I promise.
God, please.
I promise. I'll tell you.
It's hot back here, man. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
The drive to the Leslie County Jail takes nearly an hour. Throughout the trip, Stines continues talking, expressing fear, asking officers questions, and sounding increasingly unsettled. At one point, troopers attempt to engage him in conversation, asking why he did it, asking whether it had something to do with his family. The question hangs in the air. Stines does not provide a clear answer.
Come on now, guys.
I was asking why you done it. Was it over your family?
Come on now, guys. What are you doing?
I was just talking to you. I'm just asking, was it something to do with your family or anything like that?
Kentucky State Police have never released an official motive for the shooting, but later, during sworn testimony, a police officer revealed there had been a dispute between Judge Mullins and Sheriff Stines involving the sheriff's teenage daughter. According to that testimony, investigators discovered the daughter's phone number saved in Judge Mullins' phone.
I was told that Sheriff Stines had tried to call his daughter, and he had tried to call his daughter from the judge's phone also.
The sheriff's teenage daughter's phone number was already in the judge's phone. And that's what he's doing in the moments before he fires his weapon.
This testimony has been presented as part of the evidence timeline, not as a declared motive. Prosecutors have not formally labeled it as the reason for the killing, and the defense has not accepted that interpretation. It remains one of the most closely scrutinized elements of the case. At the same time, the case continued to be shaped by events that predated the shooting. 2 years earlier, former Deputy Ben Fields had been convicted of raping and sodomizing a woman he was assigned to supervise while on house arrest. That conviction is undisputed. The victim, Sabrina Atkins, later alleged that Fields used his position to pressure women into sexual acts in exchange for favorable treatment. During a 2022 investigation, audio recordings captured Atkins making additional allegations that sexual acts occurred inside the judge's chambers. These allegations have not been independently verified and have not resulted in charges against Judge Mullins.
But he does have some videotapes of some stuff in the judge's chambers.
What kind of stuff?
Just with girls, sexual and stuff.
What describe? Have you seen the videos?
I've seen one partly, just him having sex with girls for their bill to get out of jail.
Who was having sex?
Ben and just some higher ups up there.
Who?
The judge and.
Now you saw the video.
Yeah.
What did you see on the video? I mean,
I've seen Judge Mullins having sex with a girl.
Who was the girl?
I don't know.
Atkins' attorney later described the courthouse environment in extreme terms, saying it appeared sexual exploitation was taking place under the cover of authority. Those statements reflected allegations, not legal findings, but they intensified scrutiny of the courthouse. Just days before the shooting, Sheriff Stines had been deposed in a federal civil rights lawsuit tied to the Fields case, questioning his supervision and leadership. After his arrest, Stines pleaded not guilty. His defense indicated it would argue extreme emotional disturbance or mental illness. Mental health evaluations followed, along with disputes over whether those evaluations should be unsealed or repeated. Prosecutors later requested a change of venue, citing deep personal ties and overwhelming publicity. The defense opposed the move. underscoring how divided the community had become.
Aside from the civil rights lawsuit, Sheriff Stines could face the death penalty in Kentucky if convicted of that murder charge.
What makes this case so disturbing is not just the killing itself, but the setting and the layers surrounding it. A courthouse meant to represent justice became the center of violence, allegations, and unanswered questions. A judge is dead, a sheriff is jailed, and a community is left questioning what may have been happening behind closed doors. As the case moves forward, Letcher County continues to grapple with questions of power, accountability, and trust. What happened inside those chambers has already changed the community forever. Whether the full truth is ever known now rests with a jury. And now I want to hear from you. What do you think really led to this moment? And which part of this case stands out to you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments, because this story raises questions that deserve discussion. If you want more in-depth, carefully researched true crime documentaries like this, make sure to subscribe and stay with us as we continue to follow cases that challenge everything we think we know about justice.